to Tandem Canon, the game review podcast where co-play is canon, and where we're talking square bits to you, baby. Square. Okay, sorry. So got into my feelings right there. This is episode 56, Hit to Be Square, where we'll do a shout out to a developer who rocks Square Enix. And there's a couple of good 80s hits that y'all need to go download. This is Tiffany.
And this is Mia.
Alright, let's go straight into the talk from Team Tandem. So, Mia, what have you been up to for gamer homework?
I have been lazy as fuck and playing a lot of The Sims 4 because there's this machinima project that I'm working on. And so I've been like downloading things and testing out camera angles and whatnot, and it's been so long since I've done any like machinima type stuff, so it's trying to get used to the newer controls and the different features and stuff. Like the cool thing is you can actually save camera angles, so it's kind of like when you're doing theater and you have certain cues, it's like, okay, I can switch to this cue and then go here, and it's so cool how you can change it around. So that's been awesome. I've been playing Animal Crossing a little bit here and there because I actually had some downtime, and I always feel so bad when I neglect this game because I come back and all the weeds have come back, the flowers are dead, people have moved away, and I'm like, oh fuck, I've missed somebody's birthday and I feel so terrible. But, you know, for the most part, it's really forgiving. When you come back, it's just like, oh damn, I have to pull all these fucking weeds again. So it's just, you know, giving you an incentive to come back every couple of days and play. So, you know, just doing that. I got Overcooked, the gourmet edition, for like $5, so I'm really excited.
They've been selling the hell out of the games it's a mid-year sale.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And I've been trying to tell people, I'm like, go get the thing, do the thing, because Overcooked is one of the best co-op games I think I've played. And, yeah, me and Tiffany have been kicking ass and taking names on that, so we need to pick that up.
We still need to finish, yeah.
Yeah. We need to do that and show our skills. So, yeah. What about you, Tiff?
That Destiny, though, as always. But with a little bit of progression, I actually, with my clan O Brothers, we managed to start doing Prestige, the Leviathan Prestige. Now, for those who are not sure what Prestige is, it's the little bit harder version of the raid. And, like, case in point, for each point trial in the game, in regular raid, you have a token that you get to use to revive your teammate if they go down, because if you don't revive your teammate before time runs out, then you have to restart that particular trial over again.
Yeah.
But if you're able to revive them, you lose your token that you have, so you only get one revive.
Oh.
Prestige, if you revive your teammate, not only do you lose your token, they lose theirs too. And of course, things hit so freaking hard. Oh my gosh, to see people flung across the room is secretly funny, but at the same time, when you're playing this at 11 o'clock and just want to go to bed and beat the damn thing, yeah, you kind of want to go ahead and get this shit going. But for the Leviathan, I have recommended we'll just take it one thing at a time and try to beat like each trial per night, especially since that was the first time a lot of us had even done it. So we managed to get through the bathhouse and through the dogs and had just gotten to the gauntlets, but I don't think anybody got to gauntlets or to callus. And also I need to announce that my clan, they're having a team match starting on the 21st, so that'll be next Saturday, yes. And they're going to stream it on Twitch, but I don't know what time they're starting. But they're going to run all 3 raids that are current, and then the 2 prestige raids, and see who gets the furthest along. And then whoever wins, each team will have to buy the winners a copy of Anthem when it comes out, and Forsaken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of money and shit talking too.
That is so funny.
I'm not going to be in it. I get to be the referee, so going to have to get my whistle and look like Mo from Nickelodeon Gus. We're going to do this. So yeah, it's kind of exciting, but I will get the details on that in case anybody wants to watch the streaming on that. So that's uber exciting. Also, I had played Dear Esther, kind of the predecessor to Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. And this is just an exploration game. You can zoom and look at things, but there's not really anything for you to do. Where you go in the game will just trigger a voiceover of a guy reading a letter to his wife. The only thing I have to say is like, dude, where's your therapist? Like, you need to talk some shit out. The game, I believe, was released about 10 years ago, but it's been redone. A lot of parts of it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not sure what connection it has to Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, but I know it's in that same depressing kind of vein. But it's really good if you're just wanting just a nice exploration game with a story, a lazy thing that does not require much brain activity. So eventually, I would like to go and play Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Also, I am resuming Hogwarts Mystery, and there's so many people I am seeing in here that I absolutely hate.
Oh no.
And no, in a good way. It's like people from the original Harry Potter, like, Rita Skeeter has shown up in this year.
Oh, that bitch.
Yeah, and I'm
sorry.
automatically like, keep my brother's name out your mouth. I'm ready to smack your glasses off your face. She's there, but it's with a manipulating kind of Rita Skeeter way.
Mm-hmm.
Year 3 went to Hogsmeade. I got to serve drinks at the Three Broomsticks, so that was awesome. You do officially get to date in year 4.
What?
So, like, yeah, that shit got ramped up. I'm like, really?
Yeah, keep people engaged because they're like, oh shit, we messed up.
I know. And they're doing like little bitty stuff. Like they have a deal if you go in the tenure classes and you get all your stars in the classes, you get like certain outfits, and they're a lot better than the ones that are in the store, in my opinion. They've gotten pets now. So I have an owl. And you can use your owl to get energy. You can get cats, frogs, and rats. I got the owl after I saved up my pennies to get that with all the stuff you can get from watching videos. So I'm hoping to get the other animals in my menagerie and stuff like that. They got your dorm room open where you just sit on the bed like you're bored. Like, can Snape just go walk over there, please? Just get out of my face. So it's getting a lot better. Things are starting to ramp up a lot more. So yeah, it's becoming entertaining. So yeah.
Cool. In other news, we got some co-op time in recently. We both got to play Overwatch after what seemed like a while, I think, since the Retribution stuff.
Yeah.
So we kind of get in.
And they changed it.
Yeah, they've changed stuff around. And Symmetra, I was like, this bitch, oh my god, like...
Oh, yeah, she got nerfed the hell out.
I've never seen so many people, like, gunning for playing Symmetra. I don't think that's ever really happened very much before. But I do like that they did kind of change up her gun where, you do have to be much more accurate. You can't just flail your stuff around in the wind and hope you get somebody. It's like, okay, you actually have to have, like, good aim and a little bit more skill to her. So that's really cool.
Right.
And then we finally finished A Way Out. Ah!
Yes.
Yes.
Still kind of pissed.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
We really can't say anything without
spoiling,
giving away the entire game. The ending is tough, but overall we loved the gameplay. It was good.
Yeah, the gameplay is solid, and even the storytelling in the short time period that it has, it's solid because it fills in a lot of details about, each person's personality and how they approach life and stuff like that, and, kind of the important things that are fueling their reasons for trying to escape prison. But the twist that happens at the end, I don't think we were ready, because I've been trying to avoid spoilers for the last couple of months on A Way Out. But you'll make some tough decisions, and if you were anything like us, we were royally pissed, and we were like, okay, we got this figured out. So,
fuck yeah.
But if you do get a chance to play it co-op, find a buddy, and do the thing. Explore all the options, all that stuff, because you're in for a rude awakening at the end. So, Tiff, do we have any other news?
We do, and we're going to skip the E3 stuff, because to be honest, I'm still in my I don't like watching overhyped and spoilery stuff. Let me put my own judgment forward. So yeah, we're kind of skipping all of that glitzy schmitzy stuff.
I'm just over the pre-hype, and all of this blow up, and it turns out to be nothing. And honestly, most of the presentations this year were just kind of blah. So
it was for shit we already knew that was coming. Been knowing. So even with our topic, Square Enix, even people are just like, yes, kind of lame. Y'all didn't really present very much.
Yeah.
So, and just let me know if you picked something that turned out to be in your favor this year or not.
But yeah, Overwatch with the whole Pink Mercy thing, they raised $12.7 million for breast cancer research. So
that is so fucking cool.
That's so awesome. Like, congratulations to everybody who donated and did the thing. And honestly, congrats to Blizzard and especially the Overwatch team for overseeing all this. I feel like the Overwatch team has become one of the most transparent companies or franchises where they just lay it all out there. Like, okay, we messed up. We did this. And I think that honesty has paid off in the long run. So
I agree.
That's a really cool thing. I wish more companies would be like that, or more developers.
I know that they say that this almost $13 million is supposed to go for breast cancer research. How much was it to put this hamster on the payroll now? I mean, what?
Ooh,
what?
Yes. We haven't really talked about Hammond very much, at least not here. I've shared some thoughts on Twitter about why we still don't have a black woman specifically, and that, yeah, there's a debate among Black Twitter about our representation in Overwatch and whether or not they should support the game, and that's a whole different conversation. But I was like, Hammond is cute, but
I mean, he's cute, and for those that are with like furry representation, good on you.
Good on you.
But it's just like, there's nothing that's reflecting us outside of a girl that controls a robot, but technically the robot is a part of the game, not necessarily girl. So
y'all still have work to do. Yeah.
I mean, make room for all of us. And I know there's like a whole bunch of other marginalized people that need to be represented too, and like without a doubt. I just want like this badass black female to be in there, rule the day, and tell Hammy to go sit down in the corner and go rule the world with Pinky in the Brain. So
you know what? That should be the next death battle.
Pinky in the Brain and Hammond.
Yes. Okay. Y'all tell the Screw Attack people to add us. But
Get on that. Get on that.
But in other news, we attended ArlingCon last week, and this was a free festival that talked about books, nerd culture, gaming, comics. It was kind of a free-for-all. There's Artist Alley, so people could sell their stuff, and we saw some of our old friends. We kind of go in the same circles. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
We did a panel about adulting, and that's where our last episode came from, because unfortunately with all the stuff going on with the panel, we did not have time to record anything different or extra, so we hope you enjoyed that. And our
we didn't have enough brain cells too. I mean, brain cells were stretched out.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed our rambling and enjoyed listening to that. If you haven't listened to it, go back and yeah, we cover on some of the things we talked about with our second episode with nostalgia and all that and how that plays a factor, but we expanded it to other things like money and jobs and families and all the things that adults have to deal with in terms of being a gamer. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. But Tiff, what were your impressions of the con?
It was good. I was also from a nostalgia standpoint too, because this was at my alma mater, so I was like, I have not set foot here in a decade. And so, just seeing the way the layout has been was one thing, and also to do something awesome where I went to college at is also like something I can put down in the books where like, I done did a thing, and I feel good about it. I like that there was more people of color that I saw there, especially with it being free, but you don't really get to see a lot of people of color to come out and to nerd out to things. And so it was nice to see that this was open to them to come and explore, and that this is becoming more of a thing. I loved our audience. They were interactive and they understood. I love also the random fandom panel we went to. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a free-for-all where everybody talked about random fandoms that they're a part of, things that they like, whether they were furries, bronies, Hamilton, Star Wars, Overwatch, whichever. We also sat at a friend's panel of ours that we sat back in Alcon, the Doom ships, relationships on either shows or games or whichever that you really value that couple, either as a romantic love or even just friendship too, that just does not work out in some capacity in different ways.
It wasn't meant to be. It was very sad, but we had some really good discussions about that. And then the last panel we attended was about women in comics and, the struggles of female comic creators and some of the different issues they get by not having their work taken seriously, being assumed that they're not the ones drawing their art, or even the subject matter that they're talking about, and it's like, well, why is it not about men? And it's like, really, are you doing this right now? But we did run into one of our friends, Elia in a Box from Women of WonderCon. She actually was part of that panel, and it was really interesting hearing her take on things, especially as a female comic creator. She's actually done several books, and we learned some really valuable stuff, and it's just kind of sad that they still face so much sexism and misogyny within something that should be for everybody.
Right.
And we're all fans of geek culture. Why is it that they're getting so much shit? So
especially like it should be based on the work itself, not the person behind that work. I remember in that panel it was telling me it's kind of like how like a lot of the authors back in the day went by a different name, like George Eliot, so they can sell the damn book. It's sad that we've come so far that is still the case. Can't be taken seriously because one other lady, I forgot her name, had said that her husband was just sitting at her table, and they automatically assumed that he was the one who did it when it was.
Yeah.
So
it was really eventful. We enjoyed it. The staff was so nice and so sweet. And so if you do get a chance, definitely go and check it out. They'll probably have it again next year in either June or early July. So definitely do it. It's free. And yeah, there's tons of different panels and stuff you can be a part of, and you can actually volunteer to be on panels. So yay, fun time.
And it was fun. So if you have something of nerd culture to talk about, like that would be your chance to really get out there.
We noticed a lot of our Alcon friends were there. So
yes.
We saw some people were like, oh look, it's just like a little meetup. It's great. So, and then last but not least, I'm gonna go through this real quick. Flippy finally posted kind of a retrospective on what happened with Agents of Mayhem and where it went wrong. And he actually released this, I think, in, I want to say December or early January on his privately, and then I guess he just decided to release it to the public as a whole. But he goes over some really good points that I think were responsible for Agents of Mayhem not doing well. The biggest thing he talked about was the marketing and how they try to market it as a Saints Row title when really it's in the same universe, but it really had nothing to do with the Saints and other things like technical issues and stuff like that. So if you consider yourself a Saints Row fan, definitely go check it out. If you have not played Agents of Mayhem but you're looking at it, go check out that review because he's very comprehensive, and apparently PC is the way to go if you're going to play the game. Console's okay, but with PC, you can do a lot more stuff. There's probably, I think on Saints Row Underground, there's probably a pretty good modding community that's already started doing stuff with Agents of Mayhem. So, yeah.
Dude, make the game better if you can.
So, I mean, there are parts that are fun that you will enjoy doing, but there are other parts that are
forgettable.
Considering how well Volition had done with previous titles, especially with Saints Row 2, you kind of have to adjust your expectations. Like, this is not a Saints Row game at all.
Which is sad.
Alright, so let's move on to our tandem topic, tea time. Tiff, are you ready to level up?
Let's do it, yeah.
Woo! Let's level up! Alright, so for today's tandem topic tea time, we are going to discuss going back to square one with Square Enix. Today we're going to talk about Square Enix and kind of, in some ways they're awesome. I know there's a lot of criticism about them, especially once they did their merger, but we wanted to highlight them because they are a very unique company, and we're going to get into all of those reasons. So, Tiff, you want to get us started off?
Sure. I guess let's go into the background of what comprises Square Enix. And Square Enix Holdings is actually a Japanese video game developer, publisher, and distributor company. They formed in 2003 when two companies came together in a happy marriage, which, you know, some people can say is debatable of being good or bad.
Yeah.
Enix, that had started back in 1975 and was a tabloid publisher at the time. Sometimes when you get trash. Anyway, eventually when it came to the 80s, they decided to go ahead and get into video game publishing, which they have done without looking back. And mainly, most of the titles that they had under their umbrella was Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest Monsters, because, you know, we need as many Dragon Questy Monster Warrior shit as possible. Star Ocean, which you still see running rampant around here. Busted Groove, which I want to find that game so bad. And the Grandia series, just to name a few, but they have also individual titles underneath that umbrella. The second part of the equation is Square. Now, Square was established in 1986, and they published their games under the Squaresoft title, which I'm sure a lot of you guys remember. And they had a couple of titles before they hit their major home run with the Final Fantasy series. Anybody heard of that? The other series that they happen to have underneath their umbrella also includes Death Trap, Knight's Night, Deep Dungeon, Romance and Saga, Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, and they also started working on something called Kingdom Hearts 1.
I know what that is.
I have no idea.
Anyway.
Does it have ears? Somebody has ears in there, I think.
Yeah, that's goofy, but the family decided to join hands and grew actually more through acquisitions rather than with more original games. And so after Square Enix kind of got together in 2003 and there were children involved, they acquired Taito in 2005, which they're known for the old school arcade games like Space Invaders, Bubble Bobble, Birdie King, Quicks, Arkanoid, the Darius series is just a small sample of them, and then Eidos, which I'm actually a fan of with some
Oh
of their
yeah,
older
that's
titles.
mine. This was my nostalgia feeling.
Damn,
my God.
really? They did. That's right. And so now
Yes.
it's their Square Enix European branch, and they got them in 2009. So they're known for more of like the action adventure type games. So Tomb Raider, Hitman.
Yes.
The Just
Yes.
Cause series
Yes.
with blowing everything the fuck up. Deus Ex, Thief, Kane & Lynch, which they have some co-op there. Time Splitters, and then the Legacy of Kain series. And then there's also other stuff like with Crystal Dynamics and then IO Interactive with Hitman and stuff like that. They were acquired by Eidos. And then we'll go more into that because that's a whole different rabbit hole of history right there. So, yeah.
More to come.
So it's kind of interesting that Square Enix kind of started with their own, all these different games, and then when they merged, they kind of made like this weird sort of mecca of weirdness of, I don't know how else to describe it, but it did make them more diverse as a company in terms of the types of offerings, but that's not the only thing that they did. What else?
Hell no.
But yeah, they had actually expanded into other media. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So if you know a little bit about them, they also have the Gangan Comics, the manga franchises. So, and these become actual series like Full Metal Alchemist, Soul Eater, and Sayuki. So
I knew about Full Metal Alchemist, but I didn't know who it was attached to. I had no idea that they were this gigantic behind the scenes.
yeah, because they wanted to expand into other ventures and stuff like that.
Good job.
And they also did anime film. So if you heard about Final Fantasy Spirits Within, and there's a whole backstory on how that affected their company, and there's some debate among fans on whether or not that specific film helped create the division between Square Enix and the people that are more into the Squaresoft camp versus the newer camp. And yeah,
Right.
But Final Fantasy Spirits Within, Advent Children, and
Which is a great fucking film.
and Kingslave, and so those are all animations from the Final Fantasy series. And yeah, according to rumors, Deus Ex is kind of in the lineup to get their turn on the screen. So
I think they've been working on the screenplay since 2014.
jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
what's going to happen now, especially with the reception for Mankind Divided recently. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's going to make a dent in some things, but yeah.
Well, there was also another development which we'll get into a little later on too.
But yeah, what else do they do, Tiff?
They also were into franchising. I mean, because that almost seems like it's going hand in hand with this company. But they also had done franchising on behalf of Halo and Mass Effect. Which I'm like, that is crazy balls. And they are the Japanese publisher for all of the Ubisoft titles.
But, I mean, honestly, if you have played any of their games within the last, I want to say 15, 16 years at least, when you think of Square Enix, I mean, really, they've been in everything because their reach is just that far and wide. So, because they've acquired so many different beloved franchises, their size, they're freaking huge, but they still have been continuing their series in different capacities, whether I've seen a lot of the games that they featured more on like the DS and PS2, they've lived on more as mobile titles in some cases. It just depends on the franchise. But most of the characters in their library are very well developed, and they've kind of developed a cult following on their own merit over time, especially with Final Fantasy. Like, I don't know if you've been a gamer, you know about Cloud and you know about all these other characters and stuff like that. And so for people like me who really love story, character-driven games, like Square Enix is a perfect wheelhouse for me, because I'm like, give me all the meta, give me all the things so I can feel. And
Exactly. Each Final Fantasy game means different things to different people. There's a person that we know that does not particularly care for either the X or X2 game, but you know, a ton of fan fiction says differently how it affected someone else. They've done a lot of games that now I enjoy. I still have respect for them because now they're producing games, especially the rebooted Tomb Raider series. It is great, and I'm glad that they gave, quote unquote, the permission to do that, even though it's still underneath the Eidos' umbrella for them to work on, and they're still personally involved in it. Slowly, Square Enix starting to like be a lot better in my memory than it was 20 years ago. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
When I think of Square Enix, I just keep thinking RPGs. Like that's their bread and butter, RPGs,
Right.
and that's what brought a lot of people into the fold and made them fans, especially the Squaresoft camp, really. And I can't really blame them. I do like they have kind of increased their diversity in the types of games that they've acquired, because I like that they recognize it's like, well, this may not necessarily be our specialty or in our wheelhouse, but we'll bring in people whose specialty is in this, and we'll let you guys take over and continue doing the thing. And so I think that's been a benefit for gamers as a whole. It does allow people to get involved in stuff, and it's like, oh, Squaresoft or whatever, that's the RPG people. But then it's like you have games like Just Cause and Hitman and Thief, and they offer a different experience that are still compelling and still very story driven, very character driven, but a different dynamic. And so
with that being said, and I guess we'll get into the little bit of the problematic areas, but how different they handle things in comparison to how EA handles things. It's night and day. We'll get into that a little bit later too, because a couple of issues that have arisen, especially in the last couple of years, well, particularly last year, but it kind of shows the difference between what EA did all last year and what they did. With the heavy rise of multiplayer, they have recognized in the last 3 to 4 years that single player has kind of dwindled, because now everybody's your Destinies and your Overwatches, that they still want to do service to fans by providing more single player driven IPs. You have a ton of people where they are fans of these series. You have unlimited fans that they want to cater to, which goes to show how much they want to make sure that their fans are happy. I
do like that for the most part you do get your money's worth. When you get a Square Enix game, you know that the money you spent is going to be well worth it, because you have hours upon hours of gameplay to keep you busy.
Oh, definitely. Just in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, just with all their RPGs that they have, they'll keep you busy, but then you have some of the other extensions of that keep thinking of the acquired games like Just Cause or Tomb Raider and stuff like that. Just Cause, you can literally piss around for hours just getting into trouble. Hitman, kind of the same thing. And yeah, I feel like they do still make a commitment to make quality games. And I'm not too aware of their PR troubles as much, because again, I'm not as familiar with the Squaresoft side of things, where people are very much attached to those games and that era. But it's probably the same way that we feel about old school Sims versus the new school Sims people that came on with 3 and 4, and our feelings about the genre versus people who just came in and they're like, oh my god, this is great, and they don't know any better.
Have no idea. I'm coming through as something that was acquired through fellow developers. I followed into this. I was gradually getting into it, but of course by the time I was getting into Square Games, which was Kingdom Hearts, the acquisition or the merger was about to happen. So didn't really get to explore much of that, but that was my first, I guess, official introduction into it. As controversy goes, you don't really hear that much. It's in comparison to what Ubisoft might be doing, EA, you really don't hear much of controversy from them. Only lately you do. Case in point, last year they had to let go, or were going to release IO Interactive from May of last year, because even despite the positive reviews that the Hitman Revival has gotten, of course, the Hitman was a chapter release, which I heard was really, really good. I hadn't played it, but Mia was yeah, this game's on point.
It is.
So despite that, it just did not generate the revenue that they were looking for. And that's understandable from a business standpoint. But what kind of sets them apart from, especially from what EA had done when they just, when a studio wasn't doing well, they just closed them down. They closed down, 2 or 3 last year?
I think so, yeah. It's kind of sad, but I thought it was cool that they did sell the title back to the studio, that they did. It was just okay, well, it's ours now, and we own it forever, so good luck to you, bye. I like they recognized that the franchise itself wouldn't be what it was without the original creators involved, that made it what it was beloved. So, they have enough insight to understand they don't necessarily know everything, and they're willing to admit when it's you know what, we can't really financially afford this, but we still want people to be able to create quality games and enjoy this property. So
especially those that have helmed it since the beginning of time, who else would know this franchise better than the people who created it.
Yeah.
And they recognized that.
Yeah.
And so they're just like, we will help you continue on with this because, this franchise has the potential to continue being great. And it is because they're releasing part 2 in November, starting in November.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just the shut that they need. And I thought that was an awesome thing for them to do instead of just shutting down the studio.
Exactly. And I don't know if that's part of it is a cultural value, but I think it says something when a studio is really willing to do something like that and keep their fans and the people that work for them in mind, because those people have to have jobs. So,
yeah.
But another thing that they've done, and this is something that people have complained a little bit about, is just, putting their titles on hold in lieu of like new ventures or new things that they've been working on. Delays between releases. Like sometimes I think all the stuff with Final Fantasy 15 and it taking literally 10 years for
10 years of development hell, and a lot of people just like, that's it? We got a boy band? This is it? Pretty much. I'd rather them try to develop as best as they can. And if the product is crap, sure, but I'd rather give people more credence who actually spent time to develop something than someone who just slapped something together and then slapped this $70 sticker on it.
Right. For example, the Square Enix, they put Deus Ex kind of on hold for their new Marvel venture that they're working on with Eidos Montreal. So that's, one area that they're working on stuff. And then with Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming out this fall, they've really been hitting this one full force with the Tomb Raider series and picking it up and just, all right, let's do this. Let's have fun. And then the sequel to Mankind Divided for right now has been canceled for the foreseeable future, obviously because of the response and the poor sales. And that's kind of understandable, but I think the majority of the complaints were about the abrupt story and stuff like that. So, unlike EA, who would just be like, we're going to cancel it, so we're going to put it on ice. Square Enix has said that they're going to put the franchise, kind of delay it for a while, but they've clarified that the franchise itself is not canceled. And I hate saying this as someone who is kind of cynical and skeptical about things that publishers say, but I believe them. It's like, okay, well, this one wasn't the best one, so we're going to take some time. We're going to shelve this for right now, regroup, and then come back with something better. Because, Deus Ex is a very beloved franchise.
Right.
And the quality of those games have always been really stellar, like playing Human Revolution. And I mean, the stuff that you can do with this game, the story and the talk about autonomy and AI and robotics. And I keep thinking of Detroit Becoming Human, and I'm like, well, Deus Ex did it better. I'm sorry. There it is. But they were like, it's not the best that it could have been, so we're going to go back to the drawing board and come back with something better. And I believe that.
Well, it kind of goes to show also with the reboots, and I am not a fan of reboots. I kind of stray away from it, but the stuff they've done with Tomb Raider, the stuff they've done with Hitman, or let IO do with Hitman, has been a remarkable turnaround, and has been such a great rejuvenation to the series on both respects. So even with them stepping back, because it seems like unless something is just beyond their help and reach, they will find a way to either salvage it in some way or cut their losses, but they'll do it in a better way than we can probably even think of. And so I give them credit for what it's due. Probably by the time Deus Ex comes back, it will be better than ever. It is better than the expectation that we'll ever see another Prince of Persia game from Ubisoft. So yeah, it's like you said, like out of all the people that say that we have not canceled this franchise, for Square Enix, I believe them more than anybody else to do that. With Disney, because I'm sure this is like a Disney fronted thing, and it doesn't help that they have two Disney IPs under their umbrella. Once Disney wants something, they're tapping their foot for this shit.
It's like, all right.
And I think this Marvel thing might be, if they're able to do this Marvel game justice right, they might get the Star Wars franchise if EA keeps fucking up.
And honestly, I would feel comfortable with them having the Star Wars franchise. I feel like they would do it justice. Because they respect their creators. They've shown that through their acquisitions and how they've handled things. They've shown,
and releases too.
Yeah, so if they take it, I'm like, go ahead, please do. Take it away from EA, because that's the only way they'll learn. But we've also seen a much more growing emphasis on mobile gaming, and especially for some of their RPGs, getting some of those, especially if you've been playing those on handheld consoles, you'll see more of those on Apple, Android, and I want to try some of them out, because I'm not a big mobile fan, but I feel like I would enjoy playing an RPG on my phone if I had some downtime and like, oh, give me a couple minutes, let me just do the thing. So, yeah.
Definitely. A lot of people have commented that, especially with the cancellation of one game and the letting go of one of their subsidiaries, that a lot of people don't feel like they have faith in their titles anymore. And yes and no, because they were willing to let IO go on with their IP on their own merit. It's not like they completely just shut down the studio like we had said before, or they know when to pull back and not just beating a dead horse. They are great with letting a series breathe for a minute, think about it, and then inject some new life to where it can be received with a little bit more fresher stance than it was before. And so I have a better respect for someone who knows when to stop. And they do. Till people tell us that they don't want this anymore, then we won't stop until we're told otherwise, which I appreciate that better. So maybe with that, it'll just give these franchises that they need a little bit of a breather. But it's not like they don't have plenty coming up.
And they have a ton. So
shit ton.
They've been busy. They just released Octopath Travel this past Friday. And then, of course, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is coming out September 14th.
Yes. You know what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. And then Life is Strange 2 is coming September as well. And Life is Strange has had a really good response, especially now that the original voice cast will be coming back. So that should be interesting. The World Ends With You Final Remix. I've been wanting to play the original The World Ends With You. It's a hard game to find, so hopefully I can find it at Let's Play, but we'll see. But that one comes out September 27th, and then Just Cause December 4th.
Blow shit up.
Just Cause 4. I love these games so much. I want to play them all. And then Kingdom Hearts 3, The Mother.
Clap.
Shit.
Well, clap.
January 25th. Like
an actual date.
I think I'm gonna play. Well, I don't know when I'm gonna play it. I don't know when I'm gonna have time. And there's just so much lore to get through. But if you're interested in playing Kingdom Hearts 3, go and watch Super Butterbuns, because she does have a guide on approaching Kingdom Hearts 3 and what you should play and in what order to get you sort of caught up on the story, because it is very complicated. Yeah.
I mean, it's starting to get murkier in 2.
Yeah. Hell, even
One's
1.
pretty straightforward. So you're like us, but just blonde. Okay. I don't even know what life is anymore.
Yeah. But then they also have Left Alive, Starwing Paradox, Dragon Quest Builders 2 coming in 2018, Babylon's Fall, and Battalion 1944 in 2019. And then, was it Romancing Saga 3, the Avengers Project. So they do have a shooter coming up. And that's something that's not normally in their wheelhouse, but that's going to be interesting to see. The Quiet Man. But the main thing is Final Fantasy VII Remake. It will come out eventually.
I think before we go into retirement, we will get this game. Like, the last date I heard was 2022, so we'll see. I'm not holding my breath.
But when it does come out, it's going to be a good fucking game, because they've developed all this time and energy into it, so they're not going to half-ass it.
They've released different kinds of pictures, and it looks like Cloud from Advent Children. So I'm like, it feels like I'm just watching the movie again. And I believe this is also still going to be a chapter release. So
they do have plenty of projects coming around the bend. It's just a matter of figuring out which one you like and just grabbing on, I guess, which is really cool. Again, it just speaks to their diversity and the types of games that they offer. So they have a little bit of something for everybody, kind of like with Ubisoft a little bit with some of their titles. They do offer some diverse types of games. It's just a matter of figuring out what works for you and then going from there.
So with that being said, you can just look at this acquisition as a grain of salt. But it kind of goes back to what you had said at the beginning, Mia, that I really highly respect. That I am glad they didn't just start making games and making them crap, trying to attempt to do something that they're not or not originally known for. Yeah, even though the acquisitions could be crappy, at the same time, I cannot disregard the result that this has done for a lot of us, especially introducing us to a variety of different games underneath this umbrella of this developer, and they have a lot. So there's already a ton of games from that still has the Squaresoft touch on it that I still want to play. Pretty much most of the Final Fantasy games I still want to bury my teeth in and all that fun stuff. So I can't fault what has been a wondrous thing, especially for what they did with the Tomb Raider series. That's been phenomenal. So
yeah. So let us know what you think about Square Enix and how they are in their present state versus what they were back in the day. If you were one of the original, like, old school RPG fans, your opinion on this is going to be very different from ours, because especially since you've been in the trenches. So yeah, share with us some of your favorite games and some of your favorite moments from the Squaresoft era. What are your favorite games for now? Hit us up on our socials and all that. So yeah, Tiff, are you ready to do this wheel of random tandem?
Ready to spin the bitch.
Whoop whoop, let's spin it. Alright, so for today's wheel of random tandem, Tiff, let's see, what franchise or game do you think Square Enix should take on that's like either struggling or something they haven't done in a while and they should just pick it back up and do it for reasons?
Well, I already have two, and I won't discuss one more than the other because we kind of already discussed this already. Sleeping Dogs is one.
Yes.
Definitely. And Sleeping Dogs was underneath United Front Games, and of course they have unfortunately went under. So with that floating in the air, just wondering if they would ever give Sleeping Dogs to someone else. If not, that would be a fortunate opportunity if they were doing something else with the franchise. Not necessarily falling away, but it can be like a different branch. There's more triads in the world that we can pursue. That would be like a nice game to continue on. My other main one is Legacy of Kain, y'all. I did not play all of the Legacy of Kain series, mainly Soul Reaver, things that involve Raziel. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of reboots, but if they were to do this with Tomb Raider and Hitman, this would be perfect. Especially since, from what I had heard, this game is more story-driven than it is action-packed, because the action is really repetitive, especially in the first game. But the story and the lore is the draw. And it was so great. The voice acting is so Shakespearean. It makes me want to go just watch the entire YouTube video of so good, but a lot of it was cut short because apparently everything was rushed towards the end of the first game. And especially the connection to the series, Amy Hennig.
Oh my god.
She did the first two games, not the third.
That
she was gone to Naughty. She went to Naughty Dog.
Ugh.
So, and like, good on her. I love Naughty Dog games too, but her hand is no longer in that. So you kind of see that at the end of the series, especially when Blood Omen came out and everybody's just like, this shit is left field. Where did this game come from?
Yeah.
Because it certainly wasn't from the original people who worked on it, and they didn't. So I would like to see that game redone. And there was a game that was supposed to be released, I think, 10 years ago. I forgot the name of it. It's Blood Sun or something like that. That was in development and was about to be released. Like, the gameplay for it looked freaking awesome, but they shut that shit down real quick. So we never got that released. And there was also an online game called Nosgoth that just got shut down a couple of years ago, but it's not the same without the lore, without the characters, without Kain, without Raziel, without all of that Shakespearean emo-ness in there. It does not exist. So I would love to revisit that series, but I'm not sure when a right time would be for that. Mm-hmm. So, but I would love to see that full-fledged on screen. But I don't know if I can ever have anyone outside of Simon Templeton's voice in Kain or Michael Bell voice in Raziel. What about you? What you got?
Oh god, I kind of want to change my answer, but
pick whatever you want.
Okay, well, I was going to say Thief, because the most recent game came out in 2014. And the only reason why I would say it is because they rebooted the franchise and picked it back up again after like a good 10-year hiatus. And it's one of the best stealth franchises, really, honestly. Mm-hmm. And Dishonored got a lot of their gameplay mechanics based on that, especially the stealth gameplay, and then refined it. And so I wish they would kind of pick that back up. Now seeing kind of where Dishonored has taken their turn, I wish Thief would get revived up again. Kind of learn from the mistakes of the reboot or whatever, and then continue doing their thing and refining that gameplay, because I love stealth games. Those are fun. Find out me and Lazy Game Reviewer have a lot of the same taste in video games, so I'm like, alright, so if he likes it, I'll probably like it. Another one, I said Star Ocean, because they do have mobile ports of the more recent Star Ocean games that they've come out with. But I would like to see one on more current gen consoles specifically, because I love sci-fi, I love RPGs. It combines all the great things I love about Mass Effect. You have the space travel and stuff like that. You have the world building. You can do romances, a real-time battle system. So it combines, I want to say, Mass Effect and Persona. This is right up my alley. I like this. So yeah, I would love for a full-blown console release that is faithful to the series. But another one I was going to add was Elite Beat Agents. I know this is kind of out of left field, and Nintendo owns the rights to it, but Elite Beat Agents is one of those games that easily could be a great franchise if they developed it and nurtured it. I know with rhythm games it kind of fell out of favor a little bit, but it was such a unique and very fun game, and if they could do what Capcom has done with the Phoenix Wright series,
and really pimp that the hell
capitalize
out
on that, like, it would be so much fun because it's a fun game. It's silly, but it's engaging enough that you would enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know. I have so many games. I'm like, do you have time? Because I would also probably put Remember Me on this list because that one's Capcom, and there was a lot of promise with it, but I think maybe Square Enix could really develop that better, especially with the combat system, the story, really developing that a little bit better, and yeah, the gameplay overall. So
quite a few things that can be nabbed from Capcom, but you can do multiple episodes on just Square Enix's stuff alone. Maybe something we can do in the future. So yeah, any final thought?
Well, I know we've been out of practice for a little bit, but you know where our socials are: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Tumblr. Hit us up, let us know what you think about the show, what you think about Square Enix, and say hi. We always accept highs and hugs, so yay. And then as for new followers, we have, and I apologize, Avian Ling, Base Rebels, Devs Tulsa, and Milel H. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
I'm so sorry. I've been really slacking on our Twitter account. I apologize. That's my fault because
I slack in life. What are you talking about?
I've just been so busy, and I was telling Tiff I've been on a mental vacation from things going on with work and personal stuff. I'm on a mental break until I can actually do stuff like Let's Play. So
yeah. Get re-energized. Also, for the commenters, we have Tuyaj and Janice Davis. Hi!
She gave us a shout out on Twitter, and she's like, here's our throwback picture when we did our panel at Wizard World Austin. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, she's the nicest person in the world. Like, I love her to pieces. So thank you, Janice. You're awesome. We love you.
Yes, and that's Shanice Davis from the Gamers Dominion on the Assembly of Geeks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So check them out and all of their awesome stuff.
And then as for special shout-outs, we have to give a super special shout-out to Arlen Khan for hosting us and letting us take over their room. We kind of went over time because we were talking to people afterward, and they were very gracious with us. So thank you guys. It was an awesome con, and we hope to go back next year. And
Definitely.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. And then Tweehutch, our best friend Kevin, we finally saw him after what I think Alcon was the last time we had got to hang out for a little bit, and we were just like, oh my gosh, getting caught up on things. So we hope you're doing well. We love you, Kevin.
We'll see you at Let's Play.
Yes, we will see you at Let's Play. So. Alright, so Tiff, who did you pick for your PYT for this week?
I know this one's a juggernaut, but hear me out. This time I picked Game Rants, and this was coincidental because as soon as I had finished typing out all of our thoughts for this outline, they posted an episode regarding the Legacy of Kain series, what killed the series.
I saw that, and I was like, oh, Tiff is gonna lose her shit.
I lost my shit. And so I watched it, and his thoughts kind of reflect my same one about how the series had kind of like fallen off and why, but it's still a well-beloved series and was so well done, but it just did not reach the potential it should have. But from a story standpoint, it's highly recommended. So yeah, of course, all their videos are great, but go check out that video, especially if you're curious about what that game is and why I am such a freaking Legacy of Kain stan. So please go check out that video.
That's your massive pick.
It kind of is, but it's more me talking from a nostalgia standpoint. So what about you?
I picked, and I apologize, the Black Mastodonte. I don't know if I said that right. His name, it's spelled out like Mastodonte, but he pronounces it a little bit differently, so I don't want to butcher it. I'm so sorry. But he is a YouTuber who talks about anime, he talks about gaming. He does like little comedy and slice of life sort of skits and stuff, and it's just very funny. He's a very cool dude. Definitely go check him out, especially if you're into anime and gaming. He does kind of like the history of different franchises and stuff,
which I love.
He'll play through the whole series and then give like a retrospective on different aspects of the game and stuff, and you'll learn some cool things. He'll do some smart-assy overviews of things, like he did a couple on Assassin's Creed anime. So if you really love Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, what I call the standard issue Black dude anime titles, then yeah, you'll like his channel, definitely. So.
And subscribing.
Yeah, every Black dude I know who's into anime, like they love DBZ, they love Naruto.
Yes.
One Piece is up there, One Punch Man especially, like.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not knocking him, but he's awesome. But yeah, check him out. He's really funny, and he does some, I love his skits. They're hilarious, and I'm like, oh god, this is so accurate, but.
I need to watch that.
Yeah. So have fun. Let's see, as for events, we have Let's Play Gaming Expo coming up in 2 weeks. Yeah, July 27th through the 29th in Irving at the Irving Convention Center. There's still time to go ahead and get your passes. They're only $30. So go ahead and do the thing. You get 3 days worth of fun.
3 days now.
3 days.
Holy shit.
Yes, there's tournaments, there's tabletop gaming. You can go visit with vendors. They have an arcade. There's so much that you can do, and it's just so much fun. We won't be attending Classic Game Fest, but if you are closer to the Austin, San Antonio area, we definitely recommend going to Classic Game Fest. It's actually happening the same weekend, and they have bands and stuff. So yeah, go check it out. Like, this is some really cheap, fun entertainment, and you can game out. So yeah.
And those who are in the Houston area, there's Retro Palooza that's also happening down that same weekend down in Houston. So if you need something to do that weekend, the last weekend in July, and you're in the Houston area or near it, go to Retro Palooza and go and have fun there.
And then the next big thing coming up is QuakeCon, and that's going to be August 9th through the 12th in Grapevine, Texas at the Gaylord Texan. And we are registered, we are signed up, and we are ready to go. We're not going to do BYOC, but I think there might still be seats available. So if that's something you're interested in, go do the thing, because they just, I mean, they literally just opened registration about 2 weeks ago, so this is really late for them.
I guess real quickly too, I know we had to delete one thing.
We haven't really had anything confirmed, but our general thought is Infinicon probably will be canceled for this year in lieu of stuff going on with AllCon 2019, because normally, you know, they have the website, we get updates and stuff, but I think they're either folding it for this year or doing it every other year. We haven't really heard anything specific yet, but unfortunately I don't think it's happening. I keep checking their website and then the Convention Awareness Project website, and so it's kind of sad because it's one of our favorites, but that just gives me hope that, you know, AllCon 2019 is going to be even more awesome than it already is.
Lit.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry guys, but there are other things that you can do over the next couple of weeks. We are actually attending LeakyCon for one day during the same time as QuakeCon, so that's going to be fun. And I'm just so super jazzed about it. But we also have Wizard World Austin coming up September 21st through the 23rd. We're not sure if we're going to do a panel yet or not, so we're kind of deciding on things. But we will definitely be there because Wizard World is so much fun. And it's just very low key. So, and then Retro Palooza in Arlington, September 29th through the 30th at Arlington Convention Center. So this one's also going to be fun. Go check out retro games and do the thing, talk to people, and have a good time.
Nerd-ons, yes.
So yeah, our next episode will be on July 29th, and we will get back to our normal recording, posting schedule.
We're sorry for the bonus episode that we had to lay on you, but I know we both needed a mental break, especially Mia, just to recover from all the excitement she had to do over the last few months. So we should get back on our regular scheduled program. And this next episode I'm really excited about because it's in lieu of Harry Potter's birthday. We're doing Wizards and Witches in games.
It's gonna be great. I can't wait. All right, so we'll see you guys next time. You guys stay safe, stay awesome, stay game-tastic, and put on lots of sunscreen because
it is hot in these streets. You hear me?
Right. Don't burn up to a crisp. All right.
Please don't. Please don't.
Bye, guys.
Bye. And hope to see some of you guys at Let's Play.
Yeah.
Let's play, y'all. Let's play.
Thing. Do the thing. Go to Let's Play. Go.
Playing the thing. Wait a minute. Never mind.
Whoa. Playing.
Bye. Bedtime. Bye.